Alrighty, hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Lounging with Leesh. I am so excited to start this endeavor, and for those of you watching the video version, you will see our lovely guest Roxy, or at least her butt. I'm sure she'll make many guest appearances throughout this. So a little bit about the show. The point of this really is twofold. One, I needed an extra reason to get out of bed in the morning, and I'm not kidding you. If you're like me, you have been having a hard time waking up in the morning, and not just like literally, although physically it is a little bit difficult opening my eyeballs, more so just feeling excited and energized to get out of bed and get things moving and going for myself. So I thought I'd start a project that I cared about and that I was invested in, because it's something that I feel like this pull to do more content with people, to bring a little bit more I just gonna say joy and lightness and humor to the day that we're experiencing, because if you're alive right now, you're pretty much experiencing a lot of stressors. And what I used to do growing up was we'd have a routine. We would eat breakfast, we would watch Power Rangers or whatever it was, and that was this kind of like thing that kept us moving and excited to get up. Well, as you become an adult and that motivation has to be a little more intrinsic, you have to come up with creative ways to get excited to get out of bed. And so from time to time I've had different things, like I've gone through things where I was really excited to do boot camp, or go on my walks, or watch the Today Show. No, I still do like doing those things. For whatever reason, it just isn't hitting for me right now during quarantine. And one of my favorite comedians, Jared Freed, during the early part of the quarantine was doing content every day, a podcast every day, and I just thought that was so clever, and it really helped me get through my day. I was alone for quarantine for a lot of it, and it was nice to have a consistent voice that wasn't just my own thoughts. And he always talks about like putting your thoughts on a shelf, and so I thought, well, maybe I can kind of combine these two ideas of having someone to talk to, but also this consistent and positive, uplifting kind of message. So that's the first part. The second part is sharing that all with you. So if you have had similar struggles, or even if you're not struggling, maybe this will just be fun to share together. So Lounging with Leesh, and I don't know how it will evolve over time. We might have different segments, we might have guests besides just Roxy here. And as you can see, I'm filming in my bedroom, so we're recording in my bedroom, so we're just doing the best with what we have at the moment, and it might turn into something else. We might have segments, topics will range wildly, I'm sure, and it'll basically be just fun stuff that I find really interesting. And considering that we're all at home, you might hear guest appearances from my upstairs neighbor, Rick, who I'm sure I'll tell you all about as time goes on, because he's an elusive character in my life, so he should be in yours. And then I also have a roomie, so he might join us too. And yeah, so let's get started. So today's topic I want to share with you is sponsored by, it's not really sponsored, I'm joking, but I thought of having like coffee together, or breakfast, or whenever you're listening to this, like a beverage of some sort. And so my mug of choice today is my mug from one of my best friends, Courtney, that has my name on it, Leesh, and then also the Friends theme song, like I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. So I thought, how appropriate to talk about Friends right now, because I love this show so much, as so many people do, and I realize it's not a controversial or like earth-shattering thing to say, but here's what happened. When they took well, first of all, they threatened to take Friends off Netflix several times, and then there was an uproar, and like people got really upset, and so then they didn't take it off. And then like right in the middle of quarantine, I probably should have looked at the date, they took it off. And I swear to you, something happened. Ooh, sounds like Rick is doing backflips or something. They took it off Netflix, and then they put it on, I think it was nowhere for a while, and then they put it on HBO. And here's the problem, what I realized is I had so many subscriptions, probably like all of you, like to Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and Amazon Prime Video and I have cable, and it was getting ridiculous, right? So I'm like, are you really gonna make me buy one more subscription? Because and Spotify, you know, all the things. So I really held out for a long time, but you know, I realized that there was this missing piece in my life and my sleep was suffering. So here's the thing. If you are a sleep listener / watcher like me, nothing quite fills the gap like a show that you've seen a million bajillion times, like Friends, something that's calming and soothing. And so I think it was my friend Lauren who sent me articles about it and how it can actually help with anxiety to watch a show that you've seen before, because you know how it's going to end. You don't have to worry about what's going to happen. So it's actually kind of oddly comforting. And so during this quarantine, I've gone through, you know, Boy Meets World, which is on Disney Plus, Seinfeld, which I believe is on Hulu. I also really love, oddly enough, Frasier. Niles is my favorite forever, and highly recommend that. Not a lot of people do that. Oh, I did Will and Grace again, and kind of just the classics, right? But Friends was just like this missing piece for me, and so I shout out to Lauren and Marcus. They gave me their HBO login last week, and I have not slept better this entire quarantine than when I got Friends back. And I'm not even kidding you, my sleep got really, really bad, and I was kind of like a jerk about how great I was sleeping. Like the first probably half of quarantine, or whatever you want to call it, several months, I was actually pretty good on the sleep, and was like, wow, people keep saying how they're struggling sleeping, like that sucks, and like, but I'm good, tee hee, you know. But well, that caught up with me, so my sleep was just really off the last month or so, and now that Friends is back, they're always there for you. And another fun story is when I first moved out into my own apartment, they had this ad campaign running that was about like have dinner with friends. So the joke was that like it was on at 7 p.m. or something, and I didn't have DVR or anything. I know, it's crazy to actually watch things live, but so the joke was that to watch dinner with friends, and I was like, oh, it's like they're my friends, and like it's so ridiculous. I know that like it's kind of embarrassing, but it really did feel like they were my friends, they're my people. And I do get a little bit I can get a little obsessive about things like that, where you know the joke is that I'm only allowed 3 Friends references a day, because I'll just like go way overboard with it, especially when I'm watching it, because the writing is just so good that so many real life circumstances have happened in that show that come up in everyday life. Like it really is just very common, especially now, like with the fact that I'm in that age range of what the cast members were when they were filming, which is actually kind of depressing. But considering I watched it when I was a kid, but now it's like, so I'm almost 33, and they were, you know, mid to late 20s, I want to say, and a lot of them experienced their 30th birthdays on the show, and so it's weird, a little bit awkward to experience that as someone who's older than them, but also makes it really relatable. So yeah, so those are my Friends stories. I think that if I had to be one Friends character, if I got to choose, I would definitely be Phoebe, just because she's weird and doesn't generally tend to care what other people think, and is really a little bit eccentric and spontaneous and says stuff out of nowhere that you would not expect. I really love Phoebe. Also, like, I think for male characters, I think Joey is my favorite, although Ross is growing on me, which I think just makes me, it just shows my age that he's actually growing on me and actually getting more attractive. I know, it's really weird. But Joey's personality is my favorite, but I think Ross is actually like coming close to second. I know, it's horrifying. And I've listened to one of my favorite podcasts, Scrubbing In with Becca Tilley and Tanya Rad. They had on Gunther and Janice, and I don't know their actual actor names, but they had both of them on and did an interview, and it was fascinating. So I actually have a lot more respect for both of those characters now, learning where they came from. So Gunther, I guess, was just actually like a fill-in for somebody in the coffee shop, and he was actually a real life barista working in Hollywood and also doing acting stuff on the side. And they were like, well, we need someone to actually look like they know what they're doing to make it feel more like a coffee shop. And he was a barista, so it made sense. So he filled in one day, and I guess randomly, the day before, he had bleached his hair. And it was for something else, I'm pretty sure he said. And so he actually like randomly had this really bold look, and they decided that he looked great and really fit in, and then just kept calling him back, and then they wrote him into the script because they loved having him so much, and he became a staple. Like, they weren't even planning to have that person play a role at all, and I just thought that was really badass that like he randomly got this, and then they ended up changing the kind of the story plot line for him, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. And then with Janice, she talked about how like I never really thought about her role as being like this interesting, intricate storyline, and how her voice obviously was like nails on a chalkboard, but she would really like have to like womp it up to get to that like screeching level. And I guess what happened was the audience, they used to film in front of a live audience, back in the day, and she became such a popular character that when she would come on set, it'd be a surprise. They wouldn't tell anyone, and the audience would just like go crazy because they were so excited to see what kind of madness Janice was going to bring to the set and to the plot and the twists and stuff with Chandler. So I just was like, oh, that makes so much sense, and I have like this whole new respect for those two characters. And the other thing too is like the amount of guest stars. Obviously Friends was a huge hit show, but like the amount of famous actors they had on that is just like makes it really, really fun. And like, I don't know about you guys, it's the beginning of summer right now, but I am like, this was a little bit of a squirrel moment, but I am kind of oddly getting excited for fall already. And I just had this visual of the Thanksgiving episode where they're all playing football outside and the leaves are falling, and they're playing for the Geller Cup or whatever it's called, and like just being ridiculous. And so cooking the turkey and everything, and that's one of the things with these shows is I think that like a particular mood or time frame can also feel very extra cozy and feel like oddly comforting during times like this. So when I see that when they go to the beach and Monica gets stung by the jellyfish or something like that, it's this weird comfort of like, oh, they're in the same season, the same time frame that I am in. Or when the Christmas episode comes up, you can get excited for holidays and stuff like that. So I don't know. That was a long ramble about Friends, but I just thought, what better way to start it with the first lounging with Leesh, with my Leesh mug, Friends, having it come back to me this magical way via HBO Max on the app. Like, and this is the other thing. I don't know about you guys, but I watch it on my phone, like literally in bed with me. So it's like my friends are here with me And even though I have a TV, I just like it on my phone next to me. And if I fall asleep and it stops playing and I wake up in the middle of the night, I push play again. Is that crazy? Do you guys do this? Let me know, because I told myself at the beginning of quarantine I was gonna try to stop having to need like noise or TV to fall asleep, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna save that goal for another time, because my new goal is sleep, and my new goal is survival, and just trying to get through this. So, alrighty, yeah. So I think that's it for my first Lounging with Leesh. Let me know what you think. You can put comments below or above or wherever you are. Send them to me, and I really hope this can become something that we can use to share, have, you know, some fun, maybe have some laughs, and perk up this kind of like heavy time that we're all going through. So cheers, enjoy your day or enjoy your night or whatever, wherever you are, and stay safe. Bye. Thanks for listening. Bye.